Eric Richins was found dead in his bed at home March 4th, 2022. He was 39 years old. His wife, Kouri, told paramedics at the time he had no history of drug use. An autopsy found 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in his system.
And they had little boys.
They did indeed. Kouri told investigators at the time she had made him a Moscow Mule. Kouri said that Eric drank the Moscow Mule that she made for him. She went to sleep in their son's room because their son was having a nightmare. Forensic analysis revealed at trial showed that her phone was unlocked 6 times in the 15 minutes before she placed the 911 call at 3:21 a.m. Prosecutors also said she waited 6 minutes after the 911 operator asked her to perform CPR to begin actually performing CPR.
What in those 6 minutes was she doing when they were like, give him CPR?
I mean, she just did not do it. She delayed it. And later on, the medical examiner confirmed that the fentanyl was illicit. It's not medical grade. It's not like he had gotten it at, the hospital, and it had been ingested orally through this Moscow Mule. Testimony revealed Kouri Richins was unhappy in her marriage. According to prosecutors, she did not want to leave without money. Her real estate business was imploding at the time. Her net worth was at negative $1.6 million the day after her husband's death, and it was revealed she had taken out approximately $2 million in life insurance policies on her husband, Eric, without his knowledge. She was also cheating on him at the time with her boyfriend. She was texting and meeting up with them.
So many different motives. And also, she tried to poison him like a year before.
You are right. She had obtained this illicit fentanyl twice, once in December 2021 and again in March of 2022. So she got the illicit fentanyl in late 2021 and made her first attempt to kill Eric on Valentine's Day 2022.
Oh my God.
She laced his sandwich. He broke out in hives. He used his son's EpiPen. He took a nap. He later told friends about it, and some found it funny. Others were like, what the fuck are you talking about? But he took a bite of the sandwich and he said, I'm going to go lay down for a bit. If I don't start getting better, I'm going to head to the hospital. He told at least one friend that day, I think my wife tried to poison me. She left the sandwich with a love note and then left to meet her boyfriend that she was cheating on her husband with. Eric had also consulted an estate planning attorney, a divorce attorney. He had opened a living trust, took all of his assets away from Kouri. She did not know this at the time, so she thought she was standing to inherit a large estate that was in fact going to bypass her and go to his kids. So she sourced some fentanyl from her housekeeper, asking, could you get me the Michael Jackson stuff?
Oh my God. I just don't understand people like this because I have such a guilty conscience. I would never be able to pull something like this off.
Afterwards, the housekeeper texted her and said, please tell me those pills were not for him. And Kouri's like, no, Eric died of a brain aneurysm. And the housekeeper's like, oh, okay. Like the lady I sold drugs to's husband immediately died of an overdose of the very drugs I bought. I would have gone directly to the cops.
Yeah.
But she did cooperate and she did testify, which was good.
This lady had no boundaries and was involving all sorts of people that now, like that housekeeper who didn't know what she was giving her, now she has to grapple with that guilt forever.
And if you are at all familiar with Kouri Richins' career, you all might remember she self-published a children's book called Are You With Me? About a boy coping with the loss of his father. She promoted it on local television. We found out at trial that the book was actually ghostwritten, that Kouri didn't even write the children's book, and that after her arrest, her mother mailed a copy of the book to the sheriff's office anonymously with a note saying, it shows the true Kouri, a devoted wife and adoring mother. To which I say, I think it shows a true ghostwriter.
That is such a over-the-top, extra, unnecessary, callous cherry on the top of all of this, especially because you got boys who've now lost both their parents.
Yeah, and I feel like you're right. It was so not needed, and it almost goes to show what she wanted out of it, which was remuneration. And I think she thought, well, I could sell a bunch of these book copies too. Like, it's another way to make money. Just greedy, nasty. She was pretty stoic most of the trial. A couple times she was like, oh, what? Or like making faces, and that came up during closing arguments. The prosecutor just pointed out, her reactions and stuff, and then her attorney had this whole argument about wanting a special jury instruction, which in my opinion just brought more attention to the fact that she was making faces, because she was, and also some comments he had made. One of the witnesses has called her a black widow, so the prosecutor had used that phrasing, and the defense attorney had issue, was like, you can't call her a black widow. I was like, ladies, your first fucking day. You can be argumentative in closing statements, and as long as it was something mentioned in testimony, you can bring that in. And she's like, he said that she was a narcissist and that she was diagnosed narcissist. And he said, no, I said this was a narcissistic thing to do. That's not the same thing. If the jury wants to make that connection, they can make it. But it was very, quite frankly, embarrassing. At least the argument I saw from the defense attorney on that jury instruction, she was like bumbling. She was confused. Borderline, you could see the judge was almost like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, he's just like, okay.
Let's get on with
and then the prosecutors just laid back like, and then when the judge said, do you want to add anything? And he said, is there anything that's not already settled in the court's mind? It's like, don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. And the court was like, no. He was like, yeah, I mean, I disagree with you, Your Honor. Like,
that defense attorney knew her client was about to get sentenced and was just spaghetti at the wall, anything.
When you are faced with your client's search history that included queries for, quote, lethal dose of fentanyl and, quote, luxury prisons, I think you know.
Luxury prisons, you say?
You are hosed.
Where are those? Are they available for Airbnbs?
Not in Utah. Between the letter instructing what her mom and her brother should say and instructing them to lie to police, and, you know, it was a fiction story. And then these, like, text messages, she was cheating. He had to come and testify and be like, I was never gonna, like, be with her.
Yeah, and she got to sit there and listen to that.
So the jury deliberated for just under 3 hours. She bowed her head as they read the verdict, and she was found guilty on account of aggravated murder, guilty for attempted murder, also with aggravation, guilty for forgery. I mean, she was convicted on all counts. So she faces 25 years to life in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for May 13th, the day that would have been Eric Richins' 44th birthday. Eric's father, sister, other family members are expected to deliver victim impact statements at sentencing. But I think basically what Judge Richard Mrazek is determining is just whether she'll ever get parole. I think no, she should not, but
I don't think she should either. But I hope that she, on some level, honestly knows how fucked up her kids are going to be because of this, and that she's the one that did it all. Her going on and talking about the book is, like you said, why people started digging into it. So her own greed is what got her caught, and I find that to be delicious, because had she not, she might be living her life.
Or she might have even just gone to trial and there wouldn't have been as much interest, and so it might not have been completely filmed, put out there. Even if it was filmed, you know, not a bunch of people weren't streaming it, reporting on it, whatever. So I do think she brought way more attention to herself, not just by that action, but then all the actions, just the blatantness of the whole crime and the callousness that she treated his existence, that he was just a big bag of money and that his breathing was kind of getting in her way of the money, and just, you know, whatever it took, forge a signature, take out life insurance policies, poison his sandwich. It's just, what a sick person. What a sick. You can file for bankruptcy. You know what I mean? Those kids can never have their dad at their wedding.
The mind fuck that these kids are going to have to unpack for the rest of their lives, criminal. And just, it was a 3-week trial and the jury came back in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And when they come back that fast, the jury got it right. And when there's so much evidence like that, and it's just so callous, like you said, nobody wants to fucking go through days of talking about this bitch. It's like, get her out of here.
If you enjoyed this, you'll love our full podcast episodes. You can find the full episode linked in the description below. YouTube thinks you'll love this one next. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button so you never miss a new clip.